Hey guys, so of course for this video you'll need your frontal that you want to customize. Next you'll need some gloves just because you will be working with bleach and it can potentially harm your skin. Neutralizing shampoo just to make sure that bleach is no longer active on your frontal. Aluminum foil to heat up the bleach. I think that's what it's for, but it just makes the process go a little more smooth. You're going to need your developer and your bleach. I use 20 volume developer just so it isn't too harsh. And then you'll need RIT dye. Now dark brown is for, of course, darker brown skin, and my client, she has darker brown skin, so this is what I'm going to use to tint her closure or her frontal. And then I also use violet semi-permanent hair color just because it helps get rid of some of the brassy knots. So first you're going to start out with your bleach and you're going to put on your gloves, of course, so it doesn't harm your skin too much. And we are just going to begin the process of mixing our bleach and make sure it's very thick and not runny. I also have a bowl, just a regular like styrofoam bowl, nothing too fancy, and a knife because I take my knife and I spread it. So here you can't really see the bleach, but I am adding the bleach. I use about a whole pack. I use half of one and half of another, and then about 3 capfuls maybe of the developer. You don't want to use too much because you don't want it to get too runny. When I do add the purple, you'll be able to see it a little bit more. I'm just adding and adding, but you don't want to add too much of the developer because you still have to add more liquid, being the purple. I'm super sorry that you guys can't see it, but you'll be able to kind of see it now just because it will have some color. Next time I will definitely do it in like the black bowl, but yeah, you can definitely see it now. It's like the ring light and it's just like you can't really see much. But now you can kind of see it, and my thing is you should maybe make it look as much like toothpaste as possible where you see it's not really coming off of the knife, and here you can really see. So yeah, this should be the consistency. Alright, I'm just glad y'all can see it. Okay, we'll move on now to spreading it over the frontal. And you want to just literally spread it with the lightest hand possible. Like, make sure you're not going too rough to the where it will seep through, because you don't want to have like blonde streaks in your roots because it's just not a good look. So just do this and make it as light as possible, ladies, and you'll be good.
Shutterstock Music.
After that is done, you want to make sure you take your aluminum foil and measure it right over the top of that same piece and just basically cover it up and let the bleach really sit in for a decent amount of time. You want to constantly check it and just see when the roots have lifted. I gave this with a 20 volume developer about 25 to 30 minutes and it was perfect. And as you see me doing right here, just make sure you consistently check it, open it all the way up or open it halfway, look at the roots, and just do this about every 10 minutes so you don't over bleach it. And then we'll move on to rinsing it out. So you want to, if you have a sprayer, or just put it under the sink and just rinse the bleach away from the hair. So spray the sprayer toward the hair so it isn't getting on the hair still and processing it. And you want to just keep doing this essentially until all the bleach is gone, ladies, and we'll move on to the next step.
Shutterstock Music.
At this point, you want to put your neutralizing shampoo all through the hair. You want to make sure it is really getting massaged in there, as you see how I'm doing, and make sure it's really on the lace and keep on rinsing it. You can do this however many times you want just to make sure it's really out. Now you want to take some conditioner. I use silicone mix just to make sure the hair goes back to its natural state, and I just really rub that all the way in and do this a couple times until I think that the hair has all the bleach out and it's all good. So just condition it, do your regular wash routine, and then you're done with this part. So now we'll start the process of plucking the hair. So if the hair is super dense, you're going to want to take a lot more time on this. However, this frontal was not that dense, so I did not have to really pluck every spot and skip every spot as I usually do. I kind of just ran through, especially in the back areas, and thinned it out, but didn't really pay too much attention. But I got very technical as I got closer to the front. So I'll just show you guys kind of my method and let you guys follow along. So this part will be played in a slower motion just because this is the hardest part with frontals, and this is the part that makes it look realistic or not, and the part that people have the most problems with. So if you do still want to watch it, feel free. If you don't, feel free to also skip ahead to the later parts, or just skip around, girl. It's your world. Okay, so this is the plucking, and then the next part will just be doing the baby hairs and stuff like that, and I'll also insert where you can fast forward to.
Shutterstock Music. 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 Shutterstock Music.
Okay, ladies, so this is the most important part of them all. We want to make sure this hairline looks as natural as possible, and right now we can see that it looks as crazy as possible. So I kind of do something now where I make, like, I don't know what it's called, like a widow's peak kind of, because that's kind of how most people's hairline is. Even if it isn't as pronounced, you have kind of a widow's peak, and your hairline does not just go on this complete circle curve. Like, there are dips and grooves in your hairline, so I make some parts a little more thin than others, like I'm doing here, and you can kind of see the widow's peak forming. So here you'll just see me taking pieces from the front, very small sections, and then plucking right behind these sections to thin out the hairline. This hairline was pretty thick, so I thinned out a lot right behind it just to make sure that it looked as natural as possible. So now you see it kind of looks like more realistic. And you don't have to be shy about picking and plucking the hair out right behind the front of the hairline, just because if you tint it, it's just going to look like skin. And I will show you guys the tinting process next as well.
Shutterstock Music. Shutterstock Music. Shutterstock Music. Shutterstock Music. Shutterstock Music.
Then you just want to go ahead and repeat the same thing on the other side. Basically, thin out the hairline just like you did. And I'm just going to play this a little bit faster since we just did this, and you can still kind of see the motions that I'm taking. So just do it on both sides, make them match, and make them like your hairline, and you'll be good, girl.
Shutterstock Music. Shutterstock Music.
So here we're going to start the baby hairs. You want to take a very small section of the front and just kind of make the hairs shorter. You want to just cut a little bit with the scissors and take just very small sections from where you plucked right behind them, and take it with scissors and just cut. Also have your gel and toothbrush or whatever you use to slick your edges down ready. So after you cut some baby hairs, you can slick them back to see if they look like how you would usually do them, so you don't finish and have to go back while it's on your head. So just kind of slick them, and you can also use a razor comb instead of scissors to make it a bit easier. That's what I usually use. I just couldn't find it for this video, but I have to say it does make it a lot easier. So if you have a razor comb other than scissors, use that to cut your baby hair.
Shutterstock Music.
As I'm doing the baby hairs, I also go back and just pluck a little bit more behind if the baby hairs are too thick, because you like baby hairs to look like there's the baby hair, I guess, and then behind it, it's usually a little more thin. So I usually make the baby hairs and just pluck a little bit more behind, just so it actually looks more realistic. And then I'm just going to do the same thing to this side, and you're good.
Shutterstock Music. Shutterstock
So after that's done, we're going to get into tinting the closure or the frontal. And basically you can already see how realistic the frontal looks compared to how it looked before. It looks like an actual hairline. And to the left, you'll see that we have some super hot RIT dye that's already mixed. Basically I use dark brown and cocoa brown, but if you are lighter skinned, you can use RIT dye tan or something like that. Again, my client's skin color was a little bit of a deeper brown, and this is what I used and got the perfect mixture. You're going to want to sit it on some paper towel and basically just have your RIT dye mixture right in front. The RIT dye will tell you exactly how to make your mixture as well. So now we just want to test the color just to make sure it's perfect. You're going to take a little bit of your paper towel and just set it on your skin just to see if this would match. Now it wasn't my frontal, so I thought that this would be a perfect color to match my client's hair. And then we're just going to go ahead and submerge it in there. I let it sit usually for about 2 to 3 minutes or less, and I just let it sit for a while. And then after you let it sit for a second, you're just going to want to take it out and squeeze it on the paper towel. After you're done with that, you'll see just how realistic it looks. You want to just make sure it's super dry. I usually go through and shampoo and condition it one more time. I'm going to also set it on my skin just so you can see that baby hair is super optional and it'll blend with your skin if you tint it the right way. If anybody wants this service, feel free to contact me. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will be sure to leave all info so you can get your frontal customized as well.